Hey everyone, and welcome to the Ask Nicole weekly live stream. I'm Nicole, and sometimes people ask me things, but sometimes there are things I wish people would ask me about, and that's the category of, I guess, topic that we have going on today. So if you like learning things about marketing and business and, maybe some light tech stuff, tech that we all can handle, feel free to check out the other videos wherever you're watching this one, or you can go to the YouTube playlists and you can see things based on topic. It's a little bit more bingeable there. Now, I've been working on my lighting in this room for like 15 minutes. This is the best I can do. I have a ring light like 6 inches from my face that you can't see off camera, but this is as good as it's going to get, folks. But the good news is I'm mostly sharing my screen, so it should be okay. Now, today's topic is all about automation. And I think when people think about automation, they think that it has to be something really hard, that it's only for really technical people. And when I posted the preview to this video, I mentioned that one of my worst grades in college, I got 2 B- in college, and those were my worst grades because I'm a giant nerd. One of them was in advanced French grammar while I was in France with a French professor. And the other one was Intro to Computer Science, which was programming. Shout out to Chip Ross, who was a great professor. I just don't think that way. And I appreciated taking that class to help me understand how to think that way better, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. So you are learning automation, not from somebody who fancies themselves a natural computer programmer, but somebody who just wants to use the computer to get things done. Now, famously, maybe not so famously, I always say, if it doesn't matter whether you do it or a robot does it, let a robot do it. And there's lots of really great automation tools out there for things like answering Facebook messages, for email autoresponders, those kind of things. So if you're interested in automation generally and want me to get a little bit more into this topic in future videos, just leave a comment, or I don't know, track me down in the grocery store and tell me, or however you want to do that. So here's a little bit about automation. I'm going to be talking about 2 websites today that will help you automate some tasks. Mainly, I'm interested, obviously, in marketing tasks because, that's my whole thing. But basically, what's kind of driven the interest in automation is it's gotten a lot easier in recent years. First of all, these 2 websites make things a lot easier, and I'll show you that in a second. But the fact is, a lot of information is now online or in the cloud, however people want to put it. And in addition to a lot of information being online, so if information is someplace online and you want it to go someplace else, there's typically a way to connect those things. But there's also a series of objects which are increasing over time. And this is the Internet of Things. So for example, off camera here, I have some smart light bulbs. I can program them to turn on at certain times of the day or in certain conditions. I can change the color of the light bulb to pretty much any color I can think of. And that's just one of many kind of smart objects that are coming into our lives. So what we're going to see is sort of automations that can make not only our internet life easier, but our physical kind of real life easier as well. So I want to introduce you to 2 tools today. And I was trying to figure out, someone asked me what the difference between these 2 tools are. And so I started looking around, and kind of the main thing I found is that one of them has more kind of business implications. And one of them is a little bit more kind of casual users. So kind of the difference between Discord and Slack kind of seems like the difference between these 2 tools. They do a lot of the same things. And yeah, so let's just go for it. So my first tool that I'm going to go over with you today is called If This Then That. And it's got a super easy URL to remember. They're the ones who cap lock everything. So that's not me being aggressive with my caps lock. So what you can do here is, if this happens, then that. So for example, an automation that we might want to use is, when I post a blog, I would like to automatically tweet it, send out a tweet on Twitter. So we can try setting something up like that right now. So and I'm going to add if this happens. So my blog is on WordPress. So I'm just going to see what kind of WordPress integrations they have. Okay. If any new post or a new post in a specific tag or category. Well, I want it to post anytime I have a new post. So that's what the one I'm going to pick. And I'm going to say connect. And then it's going to ask me to connect to my WordPress site. and I put in my blog URL and password, and I hit connect. So let's see if it encrypts anything here. If not, I will have to, okay, you know what? I only get 15 minutes on this stream, so I'm not going to spend the time doing that. And then we hit connect, and then it will ask you, what do you want to connect it to? So it's really straightforward. And if you're not quite sure what you want to do, you can go back, and there's typically a way to like browse stuff. I just went right into create my own at the beginning. I'm going to cancel this. But sometimes when there's like new automations or something like that, they'll like put it on the homepage, or they'll send it in the email newsletter. And again, this is if this, then that. And these are, I guess, ones that I've had previously set up. Automatically share your YouTube uploads to a Facebook page, notify Facebook messages by email, tweet your Instagrams as native photos on Twitter. Yeah, so these are all things I've had connected previously. Now, you might be watching this and say, wow, this is like pretty cool that you can do this. Really, by giving this program information, you can make it do things automatically. And if we, like I said, have no idea what we want to do, we can hit this explore button, and it's going to give some options of things that we can do. And we can scroll. You can scroll into infinity here. So yeah, now you might ask yourself, like, this is great, but like, this seems like it should cost money. And the thing is that if you use it lightly, it doesn't cost money. You're typically charged by a few things, and I'll just pull up the pricing here. So the free version lets us have 3 applets that we make ourselves, and we can turn on unlimited ones. And if we want the pro version, we just can do conditional logic ones. So, if, this happens, do this, but if this other thing happens, then do, something a little bit more complicated in terms of an automation is the paid version. But typically with these services, we're charged by how many sort of integrations we have going on, how often they run, how complicated they are, and whether we need support or not. And this, hold on, my little thing is hiding that with the pro version, when you pay, you get customer support, which kind of makes sense, right? Like, then they can pay their staff to actually be responsive for you. Now, the other tool I want to talk about today is called Zapier.com or Zapier, depending where you live in the world. I personally like to call it Zapier. If you work for this company, it's pronounced Zapier, feel free to leave a comment and tell me. So Zaps are the same idea as if this, then that. Like, which 2 things do we want to connect? So let's say that I want to connect my MailChimp to, I'm trying to think of what I'd want to connect it to. Pinterest. I don't know. Okay. So if I select a trigger, when I get okay, so these are all different things that can happen within MailChimp. When I have a new campaign, so when I send a new email, create a pin. And then I can click try it. And what it'll do is it'll do just like if this, then that started to do for me. It will take me through the steps to set up the automation. It will also allow me to test it out. Now, as you see on my sidebar, sorry, that just refreshed immediately as I was saying that. So on the left sidebar, you'll see that I'm using the free version of Zapier. And like I said, it doesn't involve programming as much anymore. You have to give it the information that it wants. And I'm not saying it's going to work perfectly the exact first time you set it up, but you can, like I said, it's going to have you connect them, it's going to set it up, and then we're going to turn it on. And so you just follow the directions. And if you're a conscientious person that has your passwords and knows what you want done, then this works out okay. Now, again, Zapier has a bunch of different plans. And when you pay annually, it's cheaper, right? And as you see here, this is much more sort of business oriented. We have much more different sort of levels of pricing as well as amounts of tasks. So we have, as you see, there's a 15-minute update time. So if I set up for this to check my blog and tweet whenever there's a new blog post, it'll only check my blog every 15 minutes. But if I'm willing to pay $299 a month, it will check every single minute. So that's something that you pay for. Also, I only get 5 zaps per month for free. If I need more, I need to pay for it. So the amount of automations that are running affect the price as well. So like I said, as a reminder, typically what I notice with these services is you're sort of charged by how heavily you use the service, how complicated what you want to set up is, and obviously accessing support at a higher level. And as you see it on my left sidebar here, that here's my tasks and my zaps going on here. So it will tell me that my monthly usage resets in 2 weeks because I'm halfway through October. So I'm guessing that it'll reset November 1st. So all this to say is that, automations, they're not as hard as apparently writing a program to sort the Backstreet Boys in order of height and age, which I believe was one of the projects I had in my Visual Basic class 20-ish years ago. It's gotten a lot easier now because all of this stuff is online in databases, and making databases talk to each other is a matter of knowing what fields are available and setting up a way for them to communicate. And so these websites provide a way for them to communicate. And there's all kinds of different automation tasks that you can set up. And I wanted to find some more clever ones, but we talked about when you post a blog, for example, maybe you want it to go multiple places. That's something that you can automate. If you want it so that and I had this going for a while, when you post a YouTube video, it automatically creates a blog post. The problem with this one is when you create a YouTube premiere, which is like a video coming up, it would create a blog post. So it would sort of create one prematurely for me. And I liked the YouTube premiere more than I liked the automation. So I just turned that off. Now, if I wanted to pay some money, I could do some conditional logic, which says, run this, but only when there is a video on the thing versus when there's a post on YouTube, which apparently a premiere counts as. One of my friends, Robbie, was talking about how he automated it. So it would check the local weather, and if there was a percentage of rain, it would text him in the morning to remind him to pack an umbrella, which I thought was really brilliant. So not only can you use these tasks to make your marketing life a little bit easier, but you can also use them to make your life a little bit easier too. So that's all I got for today. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to direct you to our various social media platforms. If you enjoy this information, there's a Calendly link in there if you want to book a consultation and talk to us a little bit about your marketing needs. No obligation, obviously, because we're not terrible people. And thanks again for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And I hope that you give automation a chance, even if you're not so great a computer programmer like I am, because the internet has some bad things in it, but it's got some good things in it. And this is one of them. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Take care.